There is a moment that almost everyone has experienced, even if we rarely say it out loud. You wake up, glance at the clock, realize you haven't eaten yet, and a small but unsettling thought appears. Is it okay not to eat like this? That question, not hunger itself, is what makes most people stop. And this video begins right at that moment. Imagine your body as a house that is always running. On a normal day, there is a delivery person standing at the door. Breakfast, lunch, snacks, eating because you're bored, eating because you're tired. But today, the delivery doesn't come. 6 hours pass. The body stays calm. The brain says, "It's fine. We still have glucose from the last meal." The stomach grumbles a little, but nothing is urgent. Most people quit right here not because they are truly hungry, but because of the emptiness of not doing what feels familiar. 12 hours in. This is where things start to get interesting. Glycogen, the body's quick energy reserve, is running low. Hunger is no longer polite. It knocks loudly. The body sends signals: fatigue, irritability, unease, and many people mistake this moment for something is going wrong. In reality, this is simply the old system powering down, like lights flickering just before a backup generator turns on. Then comes something that is rarely explained clearly. Your brain is often surprisingly sharp at this point. While the body complains, the brain switches modes. The pituitary releases growth hormone. The pancreas shifts toward glucagon. Fat stores open. Ketones appear. Hunger fades not because you ate, but because the body found another route. This is the moment that surprises most people who try fasting seriously. 20 hours. The body feels more tired, yes, but inside, a very quiet kind of work begins. Without constant digestion, without repeated glucose handling, cells finally have time to clean up. Damaged proteins are broken down. Worn-out structures are recycled. It doesn't feel dramatic. It feels more like system maintenance than an adrenaline rush. And because it's quiet, people often underestimate this phase. 36 hours. Many people who reach this point say the same thing. I didn't realize how dependent I was on eating. Not because the body was weak, but because the mind had learned to use food to regulate emotion. When food steps away, you begin to feel things more clearly. What fatigue actually feels like, what anxiety actually feels like, and what your body truly needs. If you've watched this far, I'm curious about one honest thing. At what hour did you stop, and was it hunger or the fear of losing control? Leave it in the comments. Not to prove anything, but to look directly at your relationship with food. And if you want to understand your body more deeply, in a slower and more truthful way like this, stay with the channel. We don't need extremes. We just need clarity. There is a scientific detail that is surprisingly powerful, yet often overlooked. And once you understand it, the way you see hunger changes completely. Hunger does not reflect the body's energy level. It reflects nervous system habit. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, is released according to learned eating times, not actual biological danger. That's why many people feel intense hunger at the same fixed hours, and then it suddenly disappears, even though they still haven't eaten, not because the body gave up, but because the alarm finished ringing. This is why so many people say the strongest hunger only lasts for a while, and science supports them. After a ghrelin wave passes, the nervous system settles, cortisol stabilizes, and the body begins distributing energy in a more efficient, intelligent way. This is often the moment people realize they were never as weak as they thought. They had simply never allowed the body to solve the problem on its own. Another very practical point. Fasting does not make you lose muscle as quickly as many fear. Under normal conditions, the body prioritizes preserving essential tissue. Growth hormone rises specifically to protect muscle and support tissue repair, not to destroy it. Significant muscle loss mainly occurs when energy deprivation is combined with prolonged lack of movement. This is why people who continue light walking, stretching, and normal daily activity during fasting often maintain strength surprisingly well. Then comes a very real shift that few people are mentally prepared for. The mind becomes less controlled by food. When you're no longer constantly thinking about the next meal, no longer riding repeated blood sugar highs and crashes, many people describe deeper focus and slower, more precise reactions. Not a buzz, not excitement, but a quiet, steady clarity. This is the state our ancestors relied on for hunting, observing, and making decisions when resources were scarce. Of course, not everyone should practice long fasts. People with underlying medical conditions, a history of eating disorders, or special physiological needs require different approaches. But the most important question in this video is not how long should you fast. It is whether you trust that your body knows how to adapt. If content like this helps you understand your body more clearly, feel less afraid, and stop being driven by fear-based messages taken out of context, subscribe to the channel. We don't promote extremes here. We learn how to listen to the real biology unfolding inside you. And the more clearly you understand it, the more freedom you gain in your choices. There is a deeper layer that science has only recently begun to touch, and it has nothing to do with weight, fat, or muscle. It lies in how the body relearns flexibility. We often think of health as adding more vitamins, more perfectly timed meals, more control. But biology tends to work in the opposite direction. Sometimes what the body truly needs is fewer signals, less stimulation, fewer demands to react constantly. When the flow of food temporarily stops, the metabolic system is forced to shift gears. And that ability to shift metabolic flexibility is a far better marker of health than being constantly fed. In modern life, many people aren't struggling because they lack energy, but because energy arrives at the wrong rhythm. Blood sugar rises, then crashes, alertness spikes, then collapses. Focus turns into restlessness. With controlled fasting, the body gradually learns that it doesn't need to respond urgently to every signal. Heart rate slows. Sympathetic nervous system activity eases. And at a very subtle level, many people begin to sleep more deeply in the nights that follow. Not from exhaustion, but because the system no longer feels on constant alert. Here is something rarely stated plainly. Fasting doesn't just challenge the body, it challenges how you sit with discomfort. Without food to soothe you, you are forced to remain with your sensations a little longer. And that moment is where real change happens. Not everyone enjoys it, but it is honest. The body learns that discomfort does not equal danger. The mind learns that it doesn't need to react immediately. This is an ancient survival skill, and one that has become surprisingly necessary in today's overstimulated world. When a fasting cycle ends, the most important thing is not what to eat to make up for it, but how present you are while eating. At this point, insulin sensitivity is often improved. Satiety signals are clearer, and it becomes easier to recognize what is enough. Many people are surprised to find themselves eating less yet feeling more satisfied. Not because of iron discipline, but because the body has finally been heard after a long stretch of quiet. And in the end, the deepest message of fasting is not found in the number of hours. It is found in this realization. The body does not want to be controlled, it wants to be cooperated with. When you understand your biological rhythm, you no longer need to fight hunger, nor depend on it. You simply understand it. If you've stayed with me this far, stay with the channel. Not to chase trends, but to build a more mature relationship with your own body. Slower, clearer, and deep enough that you no longer fear the signals that are, at their core, profoundly human.